Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you are all keeping well. Okay. Now every time asking how are you, wasting time. There isn't time because we have to rush up with the lessons. Okay. Today we have seen the poem. And today you will learn something about a new lesson that is from your supplementary text. Page lesson 4 that you will learn. The treasure within. That is the lesson that you are going to learn. A treasure within. Last class you have learned the submit within, isn't it? You have learned the submit within. So when it is submit within, that is one thing you have understood what is within. So today you will learn the treasure within. What is the meaning? Treasure means nidhi. The nidhi that is in nammude ഉള്ളിലുള്ള നിധി അതേക്കുറിച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പോൾ പഠിക്കുക. So every one of us has got a treasure within us. Okay. So this story is about Bella Viraj. A person is how he found the treasure within. What is his capacity? See, for example, if you take a seed, take a beans seed or mango seed or whatever it is, it has got that seed by itself, it's a seed, is not. But when you soak it and plant it, that the tree gives life. See not, every seed has got a life inside which we cannot see. Only when we do the process of germination, it grows into plant and grow into trees. It's not, every seed has got. Of course, there are some seeds that may not grow, what that is there. But the same way, each one of us has got a potentiality, a capacity within each one of us that we need. Our education, our help, the help that we get from outside people, we must realize that capacity within us. Nobody can realize it. That we each person have to realize. Let us see, let us enter into the lesson and see how this particular person, Miss Bella Raj, the editor of a sparse newspaper, he went for an interview and there, from there, sharing with the interviewer or the contractor, there is a conversation between this interviewer and the one who do the interview. So interview, one who attempted the interview and one who did the. So there is a conversation between, and they reveal how they grew, how they realized their worth, how they realized their potentialities within them. Okay. As we enter into the lesson, please take your textbook. The lesson, fourth lesson of the supplementary, the treasure within. The treasure within. So here it is. Every child is a potential achiever and is different from other children of his style of learning and area of interest. So every child, every person is with potentialities. Potentialities means abilities, but it may not be the same. Each one of us are different. Each one of us are different. I may have one quality, you may have another quality. Sometimes both may have the same quality, but all are not equal. Each one is different. We cannot become like the other person. You can be what you are, realizing the treasure that is in you, grow. That is what we have to do. I want to be like him, not possible. You must try, you must realize what is in you and grow that. Is it clear? That is what you will find in this lesson. And read the interview that follows. It is based on the conversation between Miss Bella Raja, editor of a sparse newsletter from the resource center. Okay, so that is one person, Miss Bella Raja. Okay. Now, the Valley School, she is from there, he from there in Bangalore, and Mr. Hafiz, a contractor, one of the India's leading architects. So, there are two people. One is a news editor, newsletter editor, or he is the editor of the newsletter. Another one is a contractor from architect. Okay, these are the two people's conversation, how they help each other to realize, or how they make their how they realized their potentialities, abilities within them. Okay, is it clear for you? Now as we enter into the lesson, please look. Hafiz is a contractor, was an unhappy schoolboy. So Hafiz was an unhappy schoolboy. When he was studying, he was not happy. He loved doing things but detested mechanical learning. Mathematics gave him the shivers. So he says he was an unhappy person first and he loved doing things but detested mechanical learning. He was not mechanical learning and things like that. So mathematics gave him a shiver. He was frightened of mathematics. That means what his principal has once said to him influenced him deeply. So he is telling, once he was an unhappy child, he was not studying, he was interested in something else, not for studies, and once his principal called him and talked to him, that influence, that was a push into his life. Okay, each one of you should see. It is a great lesson that you can also learn. Many of you find it difficult to study. Many of you are not interested in studies. But this lesson should inspire you to give you a boost so that you can do well. Every person has the ability that each person has to realize. That is the difference. The teachers or parents can give you what you need, but they cannot do for you. You have to do it. That is what you will learn. Okay. Now, here he is a state. HC means what? Who is HC? Hafiz, the contractor. Okay. BR means Bella Raja. So these are the two people's conversation. He says that Hafiz, the contractor says, I used to have this terrible nightmare. What is the meaning of nightmare? Fear. Fear in him. Okay. What was his terrible nightmare? Only now, he says that I used to have this terrible nightmare. Only now, over the last 4 to 5 years, it seems to have disappeared. So when he was a small young boy, or when he was, he had always the fear of what was the fear for him? Maybe education was fear, language, maybe different things. So he had this kind of fear within him. But after few years, all that fear is gone away from him. That is what he says. Then Bella Raja, he says, what nightmare are you talking about, and why do you think it has disappeared now? Now Bella Raja is asking, what was the nightmare and why it is disappeared now? He is asking the conversation, no? As usual, making the conversation. Then Hafiz says, I used to get continuous nightmare about appearing for the maths examination where I did not know anything. What was his nightmare? Appearing the mathematics examination was the nightmare. Fear for him. Because he never knew anything maybe. That is what. Now the psych must have forgotten it, and I don't have to think about education. That there is absolutely no time to get nightmares. Now he says, now as he grew up and he is doing something else, he is been working. Now no more nightmare. Now no more. He has no time to think about it. But after so many, from the mind that is gone away. That is what he is telling. Now no more nightmares in him. Okay, now the next page, page number 26. Bella, he says, tell us something about your earliest memories in school. Then he is asking, Bella is asking him, Hafiz to tell him what was his school timing, what was his memories. Then Hafiz says, in the first and the second year, I was a good student. So he is narrating about him. He was a good student in the first and second year. After I reached the third standard, see from the first and second standard he was okay, studying well, everything. When he reached the third standard, I simply lost interest and I never studied. He said from third standard he lost his interest of studying and he never studied. What was his interest? He is narrating now. I used to be interested in games. What was his interest? He was interested in games, running around, playing, jokes and pranks on others. So this was the joking, running, and this was his interest. What? I would copy in class during exam time. What was he doing? Some of you also may be doing. Copying in the examination. This is what he was doing. I would try to get hold of the examination paper that I had been prepared and studied. So he used to get question papers and study. So like that. And as I could not remember things that had been taught me in the class, because he never attended properly in the class, he doesn't remember anything what was taught, but he simply bung up some questions and copy and write the exam. That was his doing. Maybe some of you must have been also doing during at home's remaining exams. I know, because the mark which you got that time and what you are getting here, it is understood that you must have been copying. Otherwise, students who study, of course, some of you must have been doing that. I don't know, I am not judging, but this lesson should inspire you to do best way. Okay, now. However, later in one sentence, later one sentence spoke to me by my principal changed my life. So this was he doing. But later, once his principal talked to him something, one sentence, that once the principal talked to him, many times he has talked, but this particular time it touched him, that changed his life. That is what Hafiz is telling. Okay. When I approached my 11th standard, he reached already 11th standard, the principal called me and said, "Look here, son, I have been seeing you from day 1. The principal called him, "Son, come, I am observing you from class 1 onwards. Okay, you are a good student. You are a good, because class 1 and 2 he did well. Grade onwards only he started to disobey or not studying, going to not regular to the class and sitting in the class, playing, all those things. So he says that you are a good student, but you never studied. I have taken care of you till today. I have been taking care of you till today. Now I can no longer take care of you so much. You do it yourself." Now the principal is telling, now you have already reached the 11th standard. Now so much I was caring for you, taking care of you. But now public exam, I cannot no more take care of you. You have to take care of you. So as an 8th standard children, you must tell yourself, nobody can help me. People can give me, but I have to decide my mind. I have already said in the class. Last class when we were taking, I was explaining to you the summit with about Everest with the summit of that you have forgotten. You learn. Okay, that lesson and this lesson is more or less is a lot of boost you will get here. That of courage, a push for you to learn your lessons and change your mind. Those of you who are not studying, you are not interested in studies, this will help you. Okay, now. However, later once, okay, that is what he says, the principal's talk. I can no longer help. I was supporting you, helping you, but now I can no longer take care of you. You must do it. So that is what the principal told him. Okay, now, he talked to me for 5 minutes. The principal talked to him for 5 minutes. You don't have your father, your mother has worked. You see, now he's telling, you don't have your father. Okay, he doesn't have his father. Now, your mother has worked so hard to bring you up and paid all your fees all these years, but you have only played games. So the principal may be knowing this particular boy from not knowing, knowingly he was helping, supporting, all those things. So he says, you don't have a father. Because your mother is hard working, he is paying all your fees and whatever he wants. Now he is narrating to him about his. Okay, he talked to him and he said, now you have never bothered about your study. You only played. He is telling. Now you should rise to the occasion and study. Now you cannot go on like that. You must rise and you must study your lessons. I used to be very good sportsman. Now he is telling, he was a good sportsman. I had been a senior champion for so many years and I also was a cricket captain. I used to play every game, but that year I did not step out onto the field. So after the principal told, he was a good sportsman, he was a captain, all those things. That is why the principal knew him very well. Because he was only except his studies, he was okay. But that is not sufficient for him, is it not? So the principal told him, after principal talked to him about, he never went for game. That is what he said. I did not step out onto the field. He never did not go. I would go to the prayers. But he will go, I will go to the prayers, and all I would do was eat and study. Because he must have been staying in a hostel, must be. Okay, he must have been in a boarding or hostel. So he says, after the principal talked to him, he never went for games. He never went to unnecessarily waste his time. He used to go for prayer, and he would go for eating, and he will come and he used to study. That is what he says. Okay. And I normally used to copy and pass. He says, normally what he was doing? He was copying and passing. But I realized that once I was in SSC, that means the 10th class, I could not do that. He said, once he was in 10th class, smaller class it is possible, but 10th class, now you know how our students, your seniors, that is 10th, 11th, 12th people are writing the exam. So as I said in the beginning itself, time is changing. Exams and forms of exams and everything, rules and regulations are changing. So you cannot simply sleep out. That is what you must learn. He says once he reached the 10th class, he realized that he can no more copy his lesson. So far which he was doing, he cannot continue that. That is what he says. When I got a second class, 50% in my SSC, my principal said, son, consider yourself as having got a distinction. So when he got second percentage, said that was the SSLC mark, he has started to improve. Once he started to study, he started to improve. It's not. So once then the principal told him, son, it is you have to work hard. Again he is telling, but in my SSC, my principal said, son, consider yourself as having got a distinction. This is my memory of my school days. So because the principal's words changed him. He obeyed. So many times your principals or your class teachers also talking to you, but you are not changing. So who is going to be at lost? You will be at loss, is it not? So that is why the teachers or your parents tells you for everything for your good and your benefit. You have to think. You may not like it because you are all young. You are not able to understand maybe some of you. I don't know. So which you will have to make up. This story should help you to boost. Usually 8th standard children after this lesson, they will come up nicely in their life. That is what I have seen some places. Okay. Now, this is he says, Hafiz is telling, this is his school memory, because Bella is asked him to narrate about his school memory, no? So he said, then, I do lots of other things. He is telling, I do lots of other things. See, what are the things? See, as far as my things are concerned, I can't remember. I forget things very easily. To remember, I have to see things as a photograph. For him, the learning was not that easy. He cannot remember by hearting. Maybe some people are listening, they are able to learn. Some people have to see the things. That is why sometimes teachers teach us, because each children is having different capacities. Some are able to listen and understand. Some people only can see and understand. Understand? So some people only read, they can understand. So that is why the skills are there. What are the learning skills? Listening, speaking, reading, writing. So I have given you also some homework, to see how you are able to listen, how you are able to write and things. But there also some of you have copied and came. I asked you to do the work by yourself, but you copied, some of you. Okay, all that is there. So that you learn from this lesson, you must change. That is what I wanted to tell you. So this man is also telling, he cannot also remember the things. Some people are having that difficulty. But otherwise it is there. He can, by seeing the photograph, some pictures, he is able to remember. And I read the book and I can remember the matter as a photograph, but not through my mind. That is how it works. So for him, some people, as I said, some people have got listening capacity. Some people only viewing, by seeing only they will learn. So this particular man also was like that. He could not remember anything. And he reads and he, then he will analyze like a photograph. Then it comes to his mind. So he changed his method of teaching. Who can do all these things? Teacher cannot do for you. Parents cannot do for you. You have to realize your capacity. Is it clear? That is what you find in this lesson. Now, Barla, he is telling BR, when you were in school and you were doing badly, did the teachers pull you up and how did you feel? So he is asking the question. You were not doing well in the school, no? Did teachers pull you up? How did you feel when they did, or when they scolded you, when they corrected you? How do you feel? He is telling, I never felt anything on being pulled up. He said, when for teachers scolding or pulling me up, I never felt, I never got angry. Why? I used to be so interested in playing. I would receive a caning every week. Caning means beating, no? The teacher used to beat me, punishes me. But since I was interested in playing, I never got angry with them. I never reacted because I went on doing what I liked. They used to punish me. They used to cane me. Caning means beating. Bia, when you knew that you had incurred the wrath of your teacher by not doing your homework or by behaving badly, when you knew you would get a caning, what was the state of your mind? So he is asking, BR is asking, when you knew that when you are not doing the homework, the teacher will punish you, they will beat you, what was the mind going on? He is asking so many questions, no? Then Hafiz is telling, state of mind, just lift up the hand and they would cane you. So he said, I don't think anything, I'll just lift my hand and show them, they will cane me, they will beat me. You would hurt badly, it would hurt badly, and then I would have to forget about it because I would want to go and play. So what do you do? When the teacher punishes you or scolds you, I just lift my hand and I get the beating. And I don't react to them. Why? My interest is only play. Play, play, play. You may get hurt, you may get pain, but he says afterwards it will go, I will go and play. You see how at a positive attitude of the boy. Okay. So when your teachers teaches you or parents scold you or correct you, what you will do? You will react, is it not? So this is what I told you. It's a good lesson. Every children should learn. And he says, I don't react, I don't show anything because his interest, he was interested in playing, he went on playing after getting in the beating or scolding or whatever it is because he never reacted to the teachers. Because then he knew the teacher loved him because he was one day he was a good student, he was a good boy. Only thing, his interest made him to be like. That is why you have to have interest in the positive, good things that helps you, that allow you to grow. Then, Bia, you never felt insecure or threatened? Then Bella is asking, you never felt insecure or threatened? Then, because he may be like that, no? Then he says, Bia, HC, Hafiz is telling, I was just interested in playing and nothing else. He said, I was simply interested in playing, nothing other than that. So beating or scolding or nothing bothered me because my interest was only playing. I was the most interested in funny pranks. One day, I did not want to study, so I created a distraction. For 1 whole hour, we played chore police. Some, no? Kallan and police, you also play sometime. So he said, even when he was in the class, when he was not interested, he used to disturb the class. And they used to sit, maybe he must have had a gang more around him. He must have been the gang leader. It's not. So they used to play for 1 hour. He used to, even in the class, he sit and play chore police, that is Kallan and police, that game, no? You also play. It's not. Okay, every Saturday. So this is what he is narrating. Whatever he said, he is very openly telling what he. But that what made him his life. That is the reason. Okay, every Saturday we were allowed to go into town to see a movie. So because as I said, he must have been staying in the body or in the hostel. That is why he is telling every Saturday they are allowed to go out for watching movie. So what I would do was have no lunch and collect money from 40 to 50 students and run and buy the tickets for the movie. Okay, he goes. He is the gang leader. He is the leader for all the students because very active and playing because he was a very good boy. Only thing, he doesn't study. That is only other thing. Every character is good. That is why he has good friends and teachers also love him maybe. Now he used to go on, he will collect money from the students and go and buy tickets. On my way back, what he does, I would eat my heart's content. He will eat nice food also that day because lunch he doesn't take in the hostel. So he will eat, he will buy ticket and he will nicely, whatever he likes, he will eat and he will come, he says. I used to be the leader of the gang. Now he comes. He was the leader of the gang. We would have gang fights and plan strategies. So they used to have strategies means what? Methods of winning, how to know. They have a group. They used to sit and plan how to do things and like that. Okay. The certain words or meanings are there in the glossary. The rest of the words you must find out. Every time I am telling you, look into the dictionary. That's the only way of learning. Okay. Now strategy means method of winning, fighting or things like that. Okay. They will plan out things for them. So they have a gang. Okay. These things used to interest me more than any academic. Academics means the studies that he has to do. Okay. So he says this is the time, this is the way how he spent his time in the school. Is it clear for you? It's very clear to understand. Last paragraph, page number 28. Students used to book my textbook for following the year because every year he is passing because all promotion, no? So he never reads the book. So the lower class children, maybe he is in the 8th standard, 7th standard children already will book his textbook for the following year. Why? That he says that students used to book my textbook for the following year because they were almost brand new because he never opened the book, isn't it? So his books always remain very new. So children used to book his book. And I probably opened them one day before the exam. So he says he never opened the book, he has never studied. He says that because children also used to book his textbook following a year so that because he never opened, his book remains always new. So this is the first part of the lesson. We will continue the class in the next class. So you must do the comprehension check. You must do that. So what is the first one? What did Hafiz contractor have a nightmare about? Can anybody tell? His nightmare was appearing the mathematics examination. Yes or no? He was frightened because he never knew anything about mathematics. He was not interested in study. He did not know because he never studied, never have interest for studying. So that was a nightmare for fear for him. Okay. So this comprehension, I want next class I will ask you. I want you to read the lessons properly and come. And we will do the comprehension. Okay, I am not doing one answer I said. You read, you will get the answers. Is it clear for you? What did the principal say to him which influenced him deeply? Can anybody? You find out. Okay, the principal was, what he told was, I cared for you. I knew from the class 1, now I cannot no more help you. That influenced him. You are a good boy. Every positive attitude there. You must read and listen. You must do the comprehension. Is it clear for you? So see you in the next class. Thank you. Read your textbook nicely because your exams are coming up. The third periodic test is coming. So work hard and study. See you in the next class. Thank you.